The evening started like any other late-night taping. The lights went up, the crowd was roaring, and Jimmy Kimmel welcomed his guest with a familiar smile. But behind that smile was something darker, a simmering resentment that had been building for decades. What was supposed to be a light-hearted interview with Eddie Murphy turned into one of the most shocking confrontations in television history. From the moment Eddie stepped on stage, something was off. He greeted the audience with his signature charm, but Jimmy's tone was icy. No warm banter, no nostalgic trip down memory lane, just a cold, pointed question. "So, Eddie, a broken bar, do you ever get tired of living off your past glory?" The studio fell into stunned silence. Eddie paused, clearly thrown, but tried to keep things light. "I think my work speaks for itself," he replied. But Jimmy didn't let up. "Your last 3 movies went straight to streaming. That's not relevance, Eddie, that's desperation." Producers behind the scenes were panicking. This wasn't scripted. Camera operators exchanged anxious glances. Viewers at home could feel the shift. Something real and raw was happening. Eddie remained composed but firm. "Jimmy, if you've got a personal problem with me, maybe we handle it off camera." Jimmy leaned forward. "No, this is exactly the place. I've waited years for this. You were the king, Eddie, but you coasted. You made a career off 2 franchises while real comedians had to grind." Eddie stood up, his smile gone. "I was doing stand-up before you even had a desk job. I created characters that defined comedy for a generation." Jimmy didn't back down. "You haven't been funny in years. You show up, collect checks, and hope people remember the 80s. What started as a tense exchange escalated quickly. Eddie accused Jimmy of trying to build clout by tearing him down. Jimmy fired back that Eddie represented everything wrong with Hollywood's gatekeeping. Then came the real gut punch. "You want to know what this is really about?" Jimmy said. "Let's talk about the Paramount deal. 2003. You made 1 phone call, just 1, and my comedy special was dead before it even aired." Eddie blinked, confused. "What deal?" "Jimmy, I don't even know what you're talking about." But Jimmy was spiraling, pacing, yelling, claiming that Eddie's influence had crushed his early career, that he'd been denied opportunities because Eddie didn't think he was good enough. The audience watched in stunned disbelief. This wasn't just bitterness, it was pain. Years of it. Jimmy accused Eddie of being part of the system, a gatekeeper, a legend who shut the door behind him. Eddie finally snapped. "I was a black kid from Long Island with no connections. Nothing was handed to me. I earned everything through talent and hustle." Jimmy wasn't hearing it. "Once you got in, you kept others out." Their voices rose. Security hovered at the edge of the stage. Producers debated cutting to commercial. The tension was unbearable. And then Jimmy made it official. "Get out. Get off my set. This interview is over." Eddie stood tall, composed despite the chaos. "You brought me here to ambush me, Jimmy. You want to blame me for your career, for your resentment, for every missed opportunity. But I can't be the villain in a story I was never part of." Security approached. Jimmy screamed, "Ban him from this lot." As Eddie left, he turned to the audience. "Sometimes people carry pain so long, it changes who they are. And sometimes the only thing you can do is walk away with your dignity." Jimmy tried to reclaim control. He faced the camera, trembling with rage and embarrassment. "That, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when someone thinks they're too big to be held accountable." But his words rang hollow. The audience knew it. The producers knew it. Even Jimmy knew it. This wasn't about accountability. This was about ego, pain, and a grudge that had eaten away at a man who once dreamed of being legendary himself. Subscribe and comment below. Was Jimmy's meltdown fueled by jealousy, a broken bar, or was there something deeper at play?